Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
If you're a high-performing salesperson, you know your time is your most valuable asset. So why waste it on tasks that someone else could handle even better? That's where our friends at Work Better Now come in.
Work Better Now virtual assistants are specially trained to help sales professionals like you fully leverage your time. Imagine offloading administrative work, calendar management, data entry, and follow-ups so you can focus on what you do best, building relationships and closing deals.
With a dedicated assistant at your side, you'll have the bandwidth to grow your pipeline, strengthen client connections, and crush your sales goals.
It's simple. Free up your time, maximize your impact. Let Work Better Now help you work smarter, not harder. Your sales career deserves this game-changing advantage.
Visit workbetternow.com today to learn more and get started, because your time isn't just money, it's everything. Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Daryl Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
It's another fantastic day here at Selling from the Heart. Always great seeing you. I'm looking forward to this conversation today. I know it's going to be a good one, Daryl Amy.
We have got servant leadership on deck with our friend Chad Eudy. You're absolutely going to love this conversation. Welcome to Selling from the Heart. If you're new, welcome. You've joined a growing community of sales professionals that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, building trust, all of these things that make up what we call Selling from the Heart. And you are part of now a community of sales professionals and leaders all over the world. At the beginning of every show, we love to give a shout out to one of our friends, and we'd love to hear from you as well. We'd love to hear from you on LinkedIn or any of our social platforms. Who are we giving a shout out to this week, Larry?
Oh, well, Daryl, speaking of LinkedIn, I just enjoy when I post stuff out on LinkedIn. And for those of you who follow me, you know I'm pretty active there. And I stir the pot when I get a sidebar message in my LinkedIn message center that's not publicly shared. Trevor Spalding, I appreciate you. I've enjoyed these conversations through LinkedIn Message Center, which has had a chance for me to get to know you. Look forward to really get to know you, but thank you for corresponding and sharing your heart with us. I appreciate it.
I agree. Here. And once again, we would love to hear from you. Just reach out to me or Larry on LinkedIn. You'll find us there. Well, today we've got Chad Eudy in the house. He is a truly remarkable leader, a servant leader whose mission is to transform lives, nurture vibrant cultures, and inspire teams from the inside out. Chad is a change agent with over 30 years at FHI, where he has impacted every level of the organization, from his early days as a handler all the way to senior regional manager and pivotal corporate roles, including director and now the VP of Leadership Development. But Chad's impact goes far beyond titles. As the driving force behind Leadership Laces, Chad is dedicated to equipping leaders and teams with practical, tailored programs that don't just measure growth, they empower it. As a proud Navy veteran, Chad brings the values of service, discipline, and heart to everything he does, both inside and outside the workplace. And whether he's leading high-impact business initiatives or serving mission teams across the globe, Chad leads with purpose, compassion, and an unwavering belief in the power and potential of people. And he's here with us today. Chad, welcome to Selling from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Daryl. Glad to be with you all today.
Oh, we're looking forward to this one, Chad.
Oh, so am I, Larry.
Well, as we get started in this great discussion today on servant leadership, I want to hear your answer to the question that we ask every guest on the show, and you know it. Chad, what does it mean to you when you hear the words selling from the heart?
Daryl, this is really a passion of mine. I believe when I hear what does it mean to me to sell from the heart, I believe it means serving from the heart. I believe when your purpose and your passion align, it just really accelerates your potential to prosper. So I just believe every person has a purpose. Every person has a calling. Your purpose is like your calling. It's really connected to your heart. And you have a passion, right? Every one of us has a passion, a calling, a gifting to do something to impact the world in a positive way. And my purpose, my life purpose, is to positively influence the lives of others through servant leadership. And I've just been on this journey that I've tried it many different ways, but servant leadership has been the most productive and just life rewarding way to serve, Daryl. And so I just believe when I hear that, it's serving from the heart, getting your purpose and your passion really to align. It just really accelerates your potential to prosper.
Hey, I really like this, Chad, and I'd like to go back and if you can expand on it, it would mean the world to us. Your calling, and what your calling. I could tell it's to serve. What's the whole inspiration behind all of this? Because just as a backstory to this, I've enjoyed getting to know Chad prior to him coming on the podcast, so I know a little bit about the Chad story. But I believe everybody has a calling. And if you don't know it, it's ingrained somewhere inside of you. What's Chad's calling? I mean, what are you here for? And why do you want to accomplish the things you're accomplishing?
Yeah, thank you, Larry. I just, at an early age, I had a grandfather who served in World War II, Purple Heart recipient. He served, and he talked to me about, he said, Chad, your name may not be in a history book somewhere, but if you take on and adopt this understanding of serving, that means you stoop to serve rather than stand and demand, you're going to get the attention of other people. And you don't have to have your name in the history books because you're doing just as much by serving wherever you're at. So a lot of times for me, Larry, when I think of serving, I saw it in my grandfather, World War II veteran. I saw it in the owner of our company who poured into me, Chuck Wall. I saw it in a Navy chief petty officer who really just ingrained serving into my heart. So serving others rather than wanting to be served, because I think so many times, right, in business books and in places you go to get higher ed, they talk about the higher you go, the more people you have, right, serving you. And I just believe of flipping that on its end, because I believe the higher you go, the greater influence you have, and the greater influence you have means the more people you get to serve.
That's beautiful perspective. Absolutely love that. And before we get to talking about what that looks like in the context of a sales professional, let's think about our friends who are leaders as well. And we've got a ton of sales leaders that listen to this show, as well as executives and entrepreneurs as well, who are honing their craft of selling from the heart. So from a true leader's perspective, what are some examples of what servant leadership looks like? Or maybe ask a different way, how do I know if I'm being a servant leader or not? That word gets, bantered around, but in the practical realm of everyday life, what are some indicators that I am a servant leader?
Well, first of all, I think, Daryl, great question. I believe if those that are watching today, and I know we're talking to salesmen, and if you understand that and learn the art of serving, I believe you create a masterpiece for selling. So a couple things. I think the first thing, a servant leader, they understand that motives and intentions matter, right? They understand that their motives and intentions of why they do what they do matter. And I would ask, are you more into making a dollar, or are you more into making a difference? Because if you do the latter and focus on serving, I've just found that the dollar follows the difference that I make in business and life. So I think motives matter. Ask yourself, sometimes I look around your intentions as you pursue a buyer, right? As you're pursuing someone to buy your services, your products, are you approaching it from what can I sell you, or how can I serve you?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe motives and intentions. When I think about a servant leader, they understand it's not about their greater good. It's about the greater good of what they have that they can offer to others. Because if you're selling something, you believe that you have something that's going to benefit others. If not, you're probably toiling and working in the wrong field, and you don't have a passion, right? So your passion, remember, your passion is your gifting. For me, mine's teaching, mentoring, coaching. For a lot on this call, it's selling. So if you don't have a passion for what you're selling, your heart's probably not really into it, and you're probably doing more selling than you are serving. So I think motives and intentions, Daryl, matter a lot. And I always would ask myself when I'm looking to help sell our services is, am I in this for a sale, or I'm in this to be able to serve, right? So I've just found in promotions, in anything in life, that whenever I serve first and I try to make a difference in people's lives, that the dollar just follows that. I hope that makes sense. But that's one thing I would say. Motives and intentions matter. I believe you have to define your why before you identify your who. So have you, those in the audience, have you defined what you value, right? What are your personal values? For me, mine's faith, family, ministry, career, service. And everything I do is centered around values. I believe servant leaders know what they value. And when they know what they value, they take the time to write those things down. They make decisions based upon those things. Do you know what your customer values, right? The potential buyer that you are selling to, do you know what they value? Because I believe too many people, Daryl and Larry, too many people don't know what they value. And then they get into this selling, and then they go, what am I doing? And they don't have a passion for it. And I find that they are selling in the wrong field, and they're toiling, and they're getting frustrated. So too many sellers chase the wrong customers because they don't know what they stand for. And you have to know your values. Mm-hmm. That's your compass, right? Then look for the customers to serve that are based around those values that you value. Because if I'm selling something that I don't have a passion for, that I don't feel that's going to make a difference in people's lives, it's just going to be a job. It's not going to be a calling, right? It's not going to be something that I'm loving to do every day, that I get up and get to go to work every day to make a difference. I believe relationships are important. Servant leaders understands the value of relationships, how relationships drives results. I know for me, and I would say probably for most that are listening, where you are and who you are today is a direct influence of the people that you have surrounded yourself with in life currently. So I know for me, there was early on in my life, I didn't surround myself with good people, and the relationships didn't take me down a path where I was wanting to go. So I learned very quickly that relationships really matter. And a lot of times, I believe is in sales specifically, we're focusing on titles, sales, promotions. How much can I sell, right? When I believe we should be focused more on people, relationships, and significance. How many people do I get to serve? How many people can I help with the product or the service that I'm offering? So I believe, a servant leader, when we think about relationships matter, it's more about being selfless, right? Motivated by a desire and a passion to serve others, not just to sell to others. I think you have to, another thing, Daryl and Larry, I believe you have to adopt a service mindset. I think you have to have that service mindset, because I believe when you serve, you stand out. When you sell, you blend in. There's many people that are trying to sell probably the same products and the same services that you're selling. So how are you standing out? Because I believe if you're building relationships, your motives and intentions are to value and create value for others, you're going to stand out. So I believe when you serve, you stand out. And when you're just out there selling, it's just a job. It's just another gig until I get something better or till I find something else to sell. I believe you're just blending in. So service is not about what you gain, but what you can give. So I believe servant leaders really focus in on what can I give more so than what can I gain. Does that make sense, Larry?
No, it actually does. I'm going to crawl through the screen and give you a big old hug here in a second because I'm a high contributor guy, right? So I believe success happens when I contribute to a greater cause. That's why we're elevating this movement we call selling from the heart. And I think what you just said, I want people to really just marinate on what Chad said for actually two simple reasons. Regardless of what position you have in the sales world, whether you're a salesperson, a mid-level manager, a key executive, a sales leader, really doesn't matter. We're swimming for trust and credibility like none other right now. Yeah. And if you can learn how to lean in and serve, watch what starts to happen. But I just really believe this. It takes a long-term approach. You just don't wake up and flip the switch on us and said, you know what, I heard Chad on the Selling from the Heart podcast. This all sounds great. I'm going to see how it works. And if it works, great. If not, I'm just going to push it off into the back 40. Now, this is almost a whole lifestyle transformation, if I hear what you're saying, Chad.
Yeah, it's really not a lesson you learn, Larry. It's a lifestyle you live. Because if you're not showing up and you're not genuine and you're not authentic with this serving mindset, the way to be called a servant leader, they're going to see right through it, right? And you can't do it just because you're listening to a podcast. I believe, to me, this has revolutionized my life. This has revolutionized what I've done in the business world, what I've been able to do to touch leaders, to touch people, because I really believe that you have to think about it, Larry and Daryl, as, are you touching a heart, or are you just asking for a handshake and a deal you want to do, right? You really need to touch someone's heart. Once you touch their heart, it's really hard for them not to want to do business with you. Because, and what do I mean by that? What do you know about your potential buyer, your customer, other than what you're selling them in the engagement of a sales call or an exchange in a sales? What do you know about them as a person? How can you speak into their life outside of, right, just selling them a product? A servant leader really engages in the person. Again, I just believe a servant leader stoops to serve rather than stands and demands for another sales, another contract. And again, I believe in it. I think they focus more on serving than they do on selling. And that is really what's going to get them to the next level, Larry. Because yes, this is a revolution. I believe, and I see it. I see it a lot in play, and I watch for it, right? I watch when I go to a business or someone's trying to sell me something. I'm listening, I'm discerning, I'm trying to engage. What is the purpose? What is their purpose behind what they're trying to accomplish? Are they just trying to get me to buy something? Are they trying to develop a relationship that goes beyond me buying their product? But I just believe servant leaders choose to serve. It's not about that lesson that you're trying to learn today, but it's a lifestyle you want to live. And so I think that's kind of what I like to go with. But I also know and seen firsthand that there's really some pitfalls you have to watch out for, especially as sales. You can't be I call it self-centeredness. There's a lot of people that are very self-centered rather than selfless, right? They're focused more on the sale than they are on the person. And then they wonder why they don't get the person to buy, or they don't close the deal. I believe there's a lot of people that are very insecure. So they use their role really to protect their ego and not elevate others. And I think the last thing is many are power hungry. I mean, it's just all that sell. It's a cutthroat world. But I believe if you do unto others as you would want them to do unto you, right? And they're very power hungry. They're more about the dollar than they are the difference that they can make. And I've just found, for me, people that sell me stuff, they stand out when they make a difference. When it's not just about making a sale, but they're really trying to serve me. They really believe in what they're trying to do. But I've seen a lot of burnout in sales, Larry and Daryl, just because, number one, what they value is totally different than what they're selling, right? So the product or the service they're selling, it just don't align. And so they're just surviving instead of thriving.
Yeah, so many great thoughts about that. You know what's interesting, because I think of our friends that are out there selling widgets, whatever. Maybe they're selling, accounting services, or they're selling something, they're selling, very basic commoditized products. And you go, okay, well, can I get excited about selling a case of tomatoes? Can I get excited about selling, accounting services? But if you look at the impact those things enable, those tomatoes enable, let's say a restaurant to serve a fine meal and create an amazing experience for, a couple out on a date or an anniversary dinner. The accounting services enable companies to, pay their people and put food on the table. Like, I'm wondering about this from the perspective of our salespeople, because I know we all wish we could work for, an organization that is got an amazing mission statement that aligns with our heart. But sometimes I think just this perspective of servant leadership, if we understand that we're driving to the impact, not the dollars. And I think one of the things we can do as salespeople and leaders is go, okay, let's really understand the impact that what we do makes. So if I do sell a case of tomatoes, well, yeah, but the impact of that is these experiences that the restaurant's able to create for couples to keep marriages together, whatever that might be, and to be able to draw the line all the way to the end result and be able to really connect that with purpose and passion. I think this is something that's really important, because so many of the, sales jobs out there, you go, oh man, I'm selling widgets. How do I get excited about that? Well, I may not be excited about widgets, but I can be excited about the impact, and I can be excited about serving people in that way, right?
Absolutely. I think you're right on, Daryl. So again, when we're saying align what you value, right? If you're selling a widget, a tomato to a restaurant, is your end goal of, okay, I'm going to sell the tomato just to make that dollar, or I am going to make just an amazing daddy-daughter date go out of this world because they had the best salad with the best tomato in it, right? So what is your ultimate thought behind what you're selling? So for me, one of the things I just learned as a servant leader is that, I got a daughter. She's a beautiful, beautiful daughter, but we did daddy-daughter dates we started about 3 years old. And she learned early on the value of a high-end restaurant. So just follow me. She learned the value. So at about 8 years old, so we'd go to like Chuck E. Cheese or Chick-fil-A or, In-N-Out Burger, wherever. And she said, she turned 8 and she said, Dad, we're not going to one of those restaurants like we usually go to. We're going to start going to those restaurants you and Mom go to. And I said, what are you talking about? The one like you sit down and they bring you your food? And she said, the food just tastes better, right? So as a salesman, when I'm thinking, if I'm selling food or if I'm selling something like that, if I'm selling a widget that goes in a phone, I got the opportunity to connect somebody that's halfway around the world. I'm a military, I'm a veteran. So I have a passion for our people that serve in our nation. So you're not just selling a phone, you're selling a phone that a wife can talk to a husband or a young child that was just born. They can see it somewhere else on the other side of the world. Yes. So what is your view for what you're selling? So it may not, when I say align with your values, it may not completely, align totally with your value, but what is the value in what you're selling? How do you get that point across to the person that you're trying to sell? Are you passionate about what you're selling? Like, do you understand you're not just selling a phone, right? You're selling something that potentially could connect a mom who just had a baby with a soldier halfway around the world in a war zone, a tomato that's going to be served at a daddy-daughter date night. So what is your passion? What is your purpose behind what you do other than just selling the product? Hopefully that makes a little
100%.
Oh, it sure does. And I'm here to tell you this, and I know Daryl and Chad, would agree, is people sense this stuff.
Oh yeah.
They sense it in your tonality and the words you use, the messaging you use, and all this. I'm here to tell you this. If your eyes don't light up and you don't get excited about whatever that is that you are selling, this is the time to get excited about it because, folks, people are paying attention to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to add one other dynamic to this as we wrap up, because I think I was just reflecting on actually the weekly meeting, Larry, our team meeting earlier this week, or today we're running through our weekly meeting, our scorecard. How do you keep score? So there's some obvious things on a scorecard for a company, that is revenue, and profitability, and all of the different. But one of the things we're working through right now at Selling from the Heart is just dialing in our scorecard for the impact that we're having. And we made a strategic decision that we want to put that impact at the top of our scorecard, in terms of lives impacted and revenue impacted inside our customer base.
Great.
And I think, and I'm curious your thoughts as salespeople and leaders, is the scorecard just the dollar amount in the pipeline velocity or whatever you're tracking in your organization? There's some important things, or how could that scorecard have some stuff on it, and maybe at the top that scorecards the impact that you're having and really becomes an indication of the servant heart in action? I'm curious your thoughts on that.
It's a great question, Daryl. I think if you're not measuring the impact you're having on people and you're only measuring the numbers, right? The people get the numbers. The people that are selling are getting the numbers below that. So for me in leadership, and those that have reported to me in the past, those that report to me now, I'm always measuring what is the engagement level of the people that they've been entrusted to serve. When I make a phone call, what is the interaction? You ask certain questions to get to whatever that metric is you're trying to measure for impact, right, that you're having on the human being, because we're selling to human beings, right? We're not selling to human doings.
That's right.
We're selling to human beings that have hearts, that they care about things just like you and I care about things. So when I'm measuring the impact, the first thing I'm measuring is how engaged is the person that's selling? How engaged are they with the people they've been entrusted to serve? And then I'm going to make some phone calls. I'm going to do some follow-ups. I'm going to measure, right? Because I can promise you the numbers will follow the people that are serving. It's just happened. I've been doing it for 30 years. I've tried it both ways, Daryl and Larry. And I found that those people that embrace servant leadership, they understand it's not about what they gain, but what they can give. They just outsell, they outperform. And I can call every customer and I can ask them, and they're going to tell me exactly what I'm looking for, because if you're measuring the impact that your people are having in the way of touching a heart before they ask for a hand, it's going to show in their numbers. It's just going to show in their numbers. And I've found it just to be just like an engagement kind of, and there's all kinds of different engagement scorecards or dashboards out there. I'm not going to promote one or another. For me, I look at the engagement of our people, those leaders on the front line that are serving our people, that are doing the work, the service in our distribution centers for our customers. We serve world-class customers. One of them is one of y'all's customers. So I just believe that if my leaders understand the power of serving their people, the people are going to understand the power of serving others. But I start with the human being. Anything we do at Leadership Laces or at FHI, how can I make a better person, a better dad, a better mom, a better grandma, a better coach, whatever it is they do outside of FHI? If I can make them better people, they bring that to work with them. And that's just a attribute of what we're giving them. I want there to be healthy homes, healthy communities, healthy places that they go every day to worship or to go to eat or go to the parks, whatever they do. Can you imagine if we had a bunch of servant leaders out there that was more concerned about others than they were themselves? What kind of world we'd be living in, right? And so, again, I just think, to answer your question, that was a long way to answer it, but I just really believe that if you're measuring the impact that the person is having, still measure the metrics, right? We measure metrics. I mean, you have to. You don't go play a game without a scoreboard, right? You have to measure those things. But I just believe engagement asking the people that they're serving, their people, the customer, potential buyer. I just believe that that there'll be a difference once you start focusing on that servant leadership.
Oh, this is so good, Daryl.
It is. What a fantastic conversation, Chad. I know our listeners are thinking this one question that I'm thinking as well. How do I get more Chad Eudy in my life?
Yeah, follow me on LinkedIn, Chad Eudy. Just search for Chad Eudy. Reach out, fhiworks.com. We have FHI Works, many different business units. Right now, I'm heading up Leadership Laces. If you're looking for ways, this is what we teach. Servant leadership is what we teach at FHI. And so we've launched a whole another company, another FHI company called Leadership Laces, because we really believe to change the world, we got to get our leaders serving people. Rather than just trying to chase another title, they need to really be serving people.
So good.
It's time for everyone to lace up them boots.
That's right. Chad, thank you so much. This has been a fantastic conversation.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Daryl.
Oh, thanks.
Awesome.
Chad.
Awesome. What a great conversation, Larry, and so many things, practical implications. But I'm just stuck thinking about how am I scorecarding this? Or what are we actually tracking this? Or are we just going around saying we want to be servant leaders? And this goes to all of us as individual performers, producers, as salespeople to go, okay, well, yes, of course I'm going to track my commission and all of the things that drive that. But could I actually, what is the impact I want to have? And can I make that the top of the list? And as Chad's encouraged us, you put that stuff first, of course, the rest is going to follow.
So true. And, I start thinking about words like attachment versus detachment.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I bring this up is when we attach to all of these things that so many of us in sales attach to, it's hard to serve. But if we can just detach and take a step back, bring our full selves forward, I think this is where you can really, really impact. And Daryl, I know that word's near and dear to you.
Well, hey, we want to detach from the outcome and we want to attach to the people. There's a relational side of this. And I think we run the risk of being attached to the outcome and we're detached from the person. We can flip that over. That's when success and fulfillment go hand in hand and great things happen. So what a wonderful conversation today. I'm thankful for Chad. Make sure to connect with him and just click through the links in the show notes. You're going to want more of him in your life. I guarantee that. And Larry, as we said, we got great stuff coming up throughout this fall. The guest list on Selling from the Heart is amazing. And by the way, if you've got somebody you go, hey guys, I just read this book, or I've got someone that you've not had on the show yet that I would love to hear you interview that's related to Selling from the Heart, all things sales, leadership, because we believe sales is influence, leadership is influence. These all things go together. If you know someone like that and you go, man, they should be on Selling from the Heart, just drop us a message. We'd love for you to connect us with them. Our commitment to you is to bring you fresh voices, fresh ideas that are going to help you thrive.
Hey, I will tell you this, and a special shout out to Will. Will, I know you watch and listen because I met Chad through Will. So
there you go. Thank you, Will. Well, thank you to everyone who's liking, leaving reviews, sharing the podcast. Helps us spread this message of authenticity and trust right here in the sales profession we all love. Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Be a servant leader, and most of all,
sell from the heart.